Hi, it's Carter, man. It is Monday, and not in a particularly good mood. Just got done weightlifting, and those of you who follow me regularly, when I don't like weightlifting, I do it because it's what you're supposed to do. Okay, it's what you're supposed to do. If you want to be in shape, you got to endure the pain. Okay, so we jog, we weightlift, whatever. I'm 77 years old, still doing it. If you're any younger than me, and you're not doing it, shame on you. Okay. Enough said about that. But so I'm not in a good mood to begin with. But then I was watching this incredible interview that Tucker Carlson did with Taylor Greene, okay? MTG, the Congresswoman. I know some of you right now are going, well, I think she's really a nut. I don't like her. Well, you know what? Shame on you. Shame on you. You need to watch the interview, okay? You need to watch the interview. And let me say right now, if you watch that interview with her, and if in your case, like I was in mine, you're kind of going from moment to moment between being livid and actually almost being teary-eyed. Number one, at what's been done to her, and number two, at what she describes as the situation in Congress with the damn Republicans right now. Well, and if you're not between anger and sorrow, there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with her, okay? You know, she is a victim of, there's one person on the conservative side of the ledger who is by far the greatest technology guru that we have, a guy named Larry Ward years ago. And it was in reference to Sarah Palin, so it shows you how long ago it was. He said, what the liberals do to conservatives is not character assassination, it's caricature assassination. They create a caricature and then they assassinate it. It's pretty good, isn't it? That's pretty good, isn't it? It's what they've done to her. Shame on you if you bought into it. It's what they did to Sarah. It's what they do to Donald Trump. It's what they would do to you if you were out there on the front lines of the conservative movement, okay? Matter of fact, anybody you don't see them attacking in the Washington Conservative Inc., dump them. If you're contributing to their orgs, dump them. If they're not under attack, if they're not under fire, they're not fighting hard enough, okay? And that brings me to what really set me off to begin with. And that's when she said that she introduced a measure to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas, the traitorous Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. And 8 Republicans voted against it, including 4 committee chairmen, the leaders, okay? Talk about a profile in cowardice. Let me say something. Let me make it clear. If the United States House of Representatives, the Republican House, cannot impeach that Quisling, that Benedict Arnold, they are useless. They are useless. This man has betrayed his oath of office. He has betrayed the American people, Alejandro Mayorkas, and he should be impeached at the very least. Okay? There's nothing too despicable you can say about that man. He has let in 11 million illegal alien invaders. I would love to have him before me if I were a member of the Congress. I would never get to be because I'm not a rhino, and I'm not going to sissy out the way the Republicans do in Congress, other than Marjorie Taylor Greene, a handful of others. A very small handful, I might add. Getting smaller all the time. But if I had him in front of me, I'd say, Alejandro, I have a question for you. Por qué, Alejandro? Why is it that you, a Latino, yeah, he's Cuban. Why is it that you have allowed in 11 million of your fellow Latinos? You've allowed them to invade our country when you took an oath of office not to do that. Is it because you have more loyalty to your ethnicity. I didn't say race, because he's not a race. Latino is not a race, it's an ethnicity. I happen to know that because my wife is Honduran. So any of you out there who want to do the caricature assassination, he's a racist. My wife is a Latino. I love her with all my heart. She's a wonderful person on the face of the earth. She tolerates me. So to Alejandro, I would say you are a traitor because you've put your ethnicity before our country. And impeachment is the least that should be done to that man, folks. The least. And so Marjorie Taylor Greene tried, and the Republicans failed us. So let me just say, in closing, little Mikey Johnson, who, by the way, has betrayed us again at every turn, you know, little Mikey, who opposed further aid to that absolute grifter, money-grubbing grifter in the Ukraine, Zelensky, now is for it. There's that little smile of his. He has done nothing to fight the illegal alien invasion of our country, but before he got to be Speaker, he was against it. Across the board. And Marjorie gives chapter and verse in that interview with Tucker. Look it up. There's nothing there. So in other words, he was a great Christian leader, moral posture, until it came time to bear the cross. I'm sorry. My dad was a Methodist minister. He stood up at times that required courage, that required him to carry the cross. Mikey's not. Mikey, go back to when you were this devout Christian who stood up for what you believed before you got to be the House Speaker. And I like this position. That's where we are with this man. Little Jimmy Jordan, little Jimmy, who talked and talked and talked, got my sleeves rolled up. I'm a doer. As long as he's in the minority, now he's in the majority. He's the chairman of the committee that should be impeaching Alejandro and Eduardo over at the House, over at the Department of Education. And in fact, Joe Biden and the whole bunch of them, Garland, over at Justice. We're getting nothing from him now. He's gone Trey Gowdy on us, hasn't he? So yeah, that's it. That's my screed. It's a screed, I know it. It's a rant, but it's about time. Watch the interview. You're going to be ranting too, because the Republican House of Representatives right now is useless, and we need massive turnover if they don't get their rears in gear. All right, so let's fight them tooth and nail. Let's do this thing.